everyone talking about signature scents, very popular topic in fragrance, not only within the actual like passionate frag head community, but also just people who barely know anything about fragrance. For example, for my fragrance history, I wore the same fragrance for like 8 years before getting more into fragrance because I thought that it was just like you're supposed to have a signature scent and yeah, that's just supposed to go with you and that's the way to do it or something. But there's a couple aspects I wanted to discuss about that because one, absolutely not true. You do not need that. But two, you can have a signature scent and still not have that be like the only one you wear. And I didn't realize either of those sides of it. So, in case this is of interest or helpful to anybody else, I thought I would go over it. So, what is a signature scent? Basically, it is something that you wear, I would say regularly, first of all. It's kind of it would have to be for you to have a signature scent that you don't wear very often. It would have to just be like something you got so customized that it's one of a kind. And even then, if you're really not wearing it much, it's kind of hard to call it that. But yeah, basically something that you wear regularly, probably the most often out of your scents, and something that, say, people who spend time around you would say like, oh, yeah, that's him or them or just whatever pronouns you use. And that is basically the gist of it. So that doesn't mean that everything that is popular can't be a signature scent because okay, so say that let's go over like Sauvage as an example, very very popular masculine designer fragrance. If you are going out and about in the world a lot, you're going to be around other people wearing that most likely, and in crowds, offices, places like that. So that would be a little bit hard to be thought of as your signature scent, but it's all about what people around you personally are smelling regularly. So if you're in a place where you're not around many people and the people you are around aren't, I don't know, Antarctica in a cave, I don't know where I'm thinking of, but basically like if you could have there could be a fragrance that's very popular. For example, Creed Aventus, very popular in the fragrance community, but do you think most people are not buying a $400 fragrance? Just no way. The average person is not. Granted, there are clones of it, they're cheaper, but even then, I don't think if you ask the average person on the street about Creed Aventus, they would know what you're talking about. So there's a lot of stuff that is considered so basic or popular within fragrance, but absolutely you're still going to smell unique, to friends, family, dates, like people around you if you wear. So if it's something that's, yeah, as popular as like Sauvage, where everybody wears it in public or like so many people that everybody smelled it, harder to kind of consider that a signature scent. Not that you shouldn't wear it all the time if you want to, but strictly talking about something that someone's going to associate as like, oh, that goes with that person, not so much. But one can be very popular within fragrance, and like Baccarat Rouge, Santal 33, something like that. If you live in a more rural area or something where it's like not as much of an urban city where tons of people are around or where people would be buying hundreds of dollar fragrances, you'd probably still smell pretty unique wearing that. So again, it just all comes down to what's being worn specifically with the people that you are around in terms of whether it's going to be unique and kind of come across that way to you. And it also, signature scent does not have anything to do with necessarily having projection or longevity. It doesn't even have to be about other people smelling you. I mean, that is a factor to me, but also it could be something that you just wear so much and that you kind of like associate it, like that's my signature scent and stuff like that. So for me, mine is embarrassing name, but I didn't choose it for the name, called Sexy Man by Aromi. And I wear it pretty much every single night. It comes with a solid cologne form and a regular one. And I find that I like the solid one the best. It just really does give off this really nice vibe when it interacts with my skin. I almost never wear that in the daytime really, but I wear it to bed every night. So pretty much my wife is like the only one who smells it, but that's without a doubt my signature scent. I wear it every night. It's like, at least for her, she would certainly associate that with me. And yeah, so it doesn't have to be one that you're wearing. And, there's just like a lot of different ways that you can kind of make it be and make it work, whatever works best for you, and still feel like, you're wearing something that is really quintessentially you. And maybe I'll probably do a longer video about like how to find one and all about that, but just kind of wanted to keep this one more about just like sort of what is it and how can you qualify it and whatnot. So yeah, I'm curious what anybody else's signature scent is, and if it's not clear, I mean, anybody who watches the channel probably knows this, but even though I have a signature scent there's a lot of other stuff. I have dozens of other bottles, so it's not like that's the only thing I wear, and you can totally still have a signature scent without it having to be the only thing you wear. And on the other hand, just to wrap up, there's also nothing wrong with not having a signature scent. That doesn't mean you're less into fragrance or something like that. Like, you could just love a lot of different ones. If I didn't have Aromi Sexy Man, I wouldn't consider any of my other ones a signature scent because I just rotate a lot, between different ones and whatever. So yeah, good if you have one, good if you don't. Doesn't really matter either way. But yeah, don't feel pressure to just to like be like, how I was of thinking like, oh, that's just what you're supposed to do or something, because it really doesn't matter. And it's all about just smelling good and yeah, liking the way you smell. But yeah, curious if anybody has what you would consider to be your signature scent. Love to know what it is.